Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back for the last time ever to the Chicago Cougars relocation franchise here on Madden 22. I have resurrected the dead for today's episode. And the reason we are going to be doing it, you saw by the thumbnail, by the title, and by the poll that I put out on the channel a couple of weeks ago. Back by popular demand is the few-year simulation. I don't know if it's going to be a full 10-year simulation, but it'll be at least like 5 years down the road. Just to see a little bit of how some of our favorite players' careers end up. Because when we ended the year, we won the Super Bowl, but we had a lot of guys, a lot of things were up in the air. What was going to happen with some of the contracts that were up for negotiations? Because, as you know, the Chicago Cougar budget was starting to dry up a little bit towards the end of the series. So we're going to find out what happens with that. Can they bring back the same kind of team that they've had for the past couple of years? What's going to happen with the careers of Trent Favors and Tajay Chamberlain and guys that we've come to know and love? Will Terry McLaurin become the Hall of Famer that we all expect him to be? We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and simulate how many more Super Bowls, if any, can this team win in the next 5 or so years? All those questions are going to be answered in today's episode, in today's one-off video. This is the final time that Madden 22 will be on the channel for a while. This is the final time the Chicago Cougars will be on the channel for a while. After this video, I am going to delete Madden 22 from my PlayStation so that I'm not even tempted to bring this series back anymore. It's done. It's done. After this video, it's over. So let's go. I've completely given control to the CPU. I have no longer control over the Chicago Cougars. They can make trades. They can sign whoever they want. They can not sign whoever they want. They can just the lineups however they want. Whatever they decide, it's all up to them. I have no control. I'm just now an outsider looking in, kind of observing. I'm like God. Think of me as Jesus. Okay, I'm overlooking from the top down the Chicago Cougars organization, and I'm seeing how it works. So just call me Juice Jesus, because that's what I am. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I hope you guys are excited for the Cougars to be back for one final time. If you are, make sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let me know down below what your favorite Chicago Cougar memory is from this series, because there's been quite a few. So let's get into the video. Let's not waste any more time, and let's see how this team does without me behind the wheel. So here we are, right where we left off at the end of the last episode, the kind of wrap-up memorial to the series. We are right where we left off, and we left off in some pretty interesting states. We had just won the Super Bowl with the Cougars against the Cowboys. We leave as a 97 overall, 95 defense, 95 offense. Very good team. Only one loss in the past season, that was to the Kansas City Chiefs. But as you look in the kind of middle of your screen, negative $9.79 million in cap space. I'm not going to have any control over who they re-sign and who they don't re-sign. So whatever happens, happens. But like I said, I have no control. We can take a quick look at season recap just to kind of refresh your memory what happened this past season. If you want to go see the full kind of review of the entire series, go back and watch that final video before this one. And that's when we go and we kind of reminisce about the entire series and we go through everything. So if you missed that, go back and watch that. That's not what this video is going to be. But that's the season recap, and we can take one final look at probably what the lineup will look like for not very much longer. This lineup will not be what it looks like at the end of this video, and I'm kind of sad about that. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do the simulation, because I kind of wanted just to leave it open-ended. I kind of wanted to just leave it how we left it. We left it on such a high note, and we left it with, you could make up your own lore and your own theories for how these players' careers ended. But now that we're actually doing this, I put out the poll, and it's not up to me. I put out the poll, and the majority said yes, do the simulation, so that's what we're doing. That's what this video is about. So we're going to find out how a 26-year-old in his prime, Trey Lance, true 99 overall quarterback, leads a team with not a whole lot of money. The defense is just phenomenal. This, by far, is the best team I've ever put together in Madden. Yeah, it's phenomenal. The greatest cornerback of all time, Patrick Surtain. The greatest pass rushing duo of all time, Trent Favors and Chase Young. Great supporting linebacking pass rush with Micah Parsons, Kalen Cousins. A great safety in Budda Baker. Great interior defensive lineman in Romeo Goddard and Christian Barmore. A great sub linebacker, Cam Curl. He really didn't even play free safety. He was always a sub linebacker. One of the best offensive lines I've ever put together in a game. The greatest tight end, Kyle Pitts. The greatest wide receiver core of all time. The greatest underutilized wide receiver, Matt Peterson. The best running back. We just had the best everything. Every single position we had the best of. That's just how good this team ended up being. But it's probably not going to be that way for very much longer, because if we go to the salary portion of the team, we are on a big-time budget. So if we go to this, Darryl Royals has no contract. Dalton Schultz has no contract. Devon Hamilton, Zaire Reed, Nate Hobbs, Romeo Goddard, X Factor, has no contract. Austin Eckler, Cameron Johnston, John Hackett, Enriquez, Green, Peterson has one. So like some of these guys, those guys all have no contract. They're going to be free agents this year. Then we go to the next season, and you've got guys like Peterson, Telford, Jeff Sewell, Dubois, Trent Brown, Kalen Cousins. You've got Novak and Barrett all up for contract. Those guys aren't mattering that much. And then a few years down the road, you get the guys that have 2 years left on their contracts. Then you get to the guys that have 3 years left on their contracts. Then you get to the guys that have 4, and so on and so on. I'm not going to be the judge of who they bring back and who they trade away. We're going to be finding out that. Let's simulate to the draft and see what kind of moves have been made. I'll see you guys then. Okay, so we've gotten to the draft. We'll get into that in a little bit. And the team looks a little bit different on offense. It looks like they didn't bring back Hackett, so he is gone in free agency. They're going to have Novak play. I'm not going to adjust the lineup. I'm not controlling anything. So they're going to have a 59 overall right guard play unless they change some. Maybe they put Schmidt at right guard. I hope so. They don't have a backup tight end now. It's just Kyle Pitts. There is no backup running back except for Dubois, however you want to say his name. The wide receivers are still intact, but that could change pretty quickly. No more Romeo Goddard. He is gone. Christian Barmore and PJ Finch are the only 2 D tackles in there. This team's not as good as it was, and it doesn't look like there was anybody. I didn't recognize any new free agents signed. So this team is certainly not as good, and the draft pick that we have this year, I don't know if we have one. I think I might have traded it away. Did I trade it away? I did. I traded our first round draft pick last season. So this team's probably not going to get much better. But I will see you guys at draft recap and see what this Chicago Cougar team does. Okay, so it looks like the boys didn't draft very well. They drafted a bunch of really, really poor overall players. Not good. Not good at all. I would have tried to figure out how to get a first round pick probably. The best player in the draft was a 78 overall, so he wasn't even that good of a it wasn't even that good of a draft class. And this guy's name is legendary. Coco Cheeks. Legendary name. Legendary name. And now that this team looks a lot worse than what they have in the past, we are going to go to the end of next season. I will see you guys at the playoffs for next year, and it's probably not going to look that great. I'm just warning you now. So the first year without me under center controlling everything that goes on here, the Cougars finish 8-9 and miss the postseason. Maybe I'm just that talented. Maybe I'm just that good of a general manager that I can force such a good team or such a bad team to be good, and they can't do it on their own. Trey Lance had a good season. So did Jonathan Taylor, only 11 touchdowns though. Jamar Chase got over 1,000 yards. Terry McLaurin didn't even reach 1,000 yards, which is just disgusting. He's the greatest wide receiver of all time. He's not reaching 1,000 yards. I don't know what happened there. Defensively, Russ Telfer got 100 tackles. Patrick Surtain only had 2 interceptions, which is just like disgusting. He should not do that. He should have more than that. Chase Young did step up with 19 sacks. Trent Favors 17.5. These two guys are going to break the records for total sacks in a career. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Rodrigo Blankenship had a solid season kicking. And we will move on to the next season because I'll show you guys the start of year number 2 without me. We'll probably be at regular season week number 1 next time you see me. And we'll take a look at how this team has changed. See you guys then. Okay, so we're going to be entering year number 2 without me controlling every aspect of this organization, and we're going to take a look at what this team looks like now. So we've still got Trey Lance, still got Jonathan Taylor, still got Terry, still got Tajay, big play Tajay, Jamar Chase is here, but there's no more Matt Peterson. I've noticed that. Matt Peterson did not re-sign with the team. Mark Burton's an 80 overall, for whatever that is. And there's no more... Who was on the right side there? Somebody was on the right side. That was good. But he's no longer there. They do have a decent overall guard, so that's okay. Kyle Pitts still here. On the defense, still got Favors, still got Chase Young. Surtain and Terrell are the only 2 good corners. Micah Parsons has dropped to star development. What did he do to drop? He went down to star development for no reason. He had the game that he played right before he dropped down. That was a preseason game, and he had 32 downs played. He had a tackle for loss, 3 tackles. I don't know why he didn't. He doesn't deserve. He may be regressing. He shouldn't be. He might be regressing. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's only 28. Now I'm giving his superstar development back. I know I don't take control of these things, but he didn't do anything to deserve going down to star, so he deserves to be still superstar. So we will give him superstar. That's the only thing I'm going to change. It's the only thing. I don't have any control of anything else. Cam Curl has lost his starting free safety spot to Alex Ali. That's cool. We'll see how this team does. They didn't make the playoffs last year. I have a bad feeling that they're not going to make the playoffs again this year, but we'll find out. I'll see you guys at the postseason, at the end of the season. What? I'll see you guys at the playoffs. Okay, so here we are at the playoffs, and as you can see, we are not in it again. Don't mind the standings or anything like that. They got glitched because I went back. I wanted to create a different save file so that I could go back to originally when we stopped, so that there was like that separate file. So I went back and I did that, and when I came back in, I guess it glitched it out a little bit. So it's nothing like changed. The roster still looks the same as what it had been this entire season. There's no like changes to that, so you can see the guards are still bad. There's no more Matt Peterson. Like the team is still what it was during the simulation so far. It just the standings got glitched out a little bit. We still didn't make the playoffs though. But this offseason is going to be pretty crazy because we actually have a little bit of money. The past offseason, we didn't have any money. We were negative. So we couldn't even bring anybody. But now we're going to have a little bit of money. Maybe they start to sign some people. I hope so, because this team needs to get back on track. We were such a dominant team for 4 years. Can we get back on track? We've been kind of sucky now. So I'll see you guys at the start of season number 3 without me in control. Hopefully we do something in the offseason. Let's go find out. Okay, so we are about to start year number 3 without me in control. And if you take a look at the standings, it looks like another team in the division moved to a new place. The Tennessee Titans are no longer. It is now, I'm guessing, the San Diego Crusaders? I'm not 100% sure what their home market is, but they have moved from Tennessee. What is their name? Can I find out what it is? Along with the Chargers, we knew that. Yeah, it is. The San Diego Crusaders are now alive. We knew about the Mexico City Diablos. That's the Chargers. We played against them in the final season. I'm scared to take a look at what this lineup looks like. What do we have in year number 3? Trey Lance, Jonathan Taylor, McLaurin, Jamar Chase, big play Tajay. They also have this guy. Is it Joe Harris? Who is this? Johnny Harris, second-year man out of Texas Tech, star wide receiver. He could be something. That's good. Still have Kyle Pitts. The offensive line still looks good. Then you go to the defensive side of things. You've got no more Finch. Then you've got Chase Young and Favors still here. Pat Surtain, Alex Ali. No more Cam Curl. Buda Baker starting to regress a little bit. Parsons has dropped from superstar, but I'm not going to change at this point. it doesn't matter. There's still a decent middle linebacker. Who are you? Travis Smith, second-year man out of LSU. Okay, good middle linebacker. AJ Terrell's still here. So the team basically looks the same for the past couple of years. They haven't really spent any money in free agency. To be fair, there really hasn't been much money to spend in free agency, so I get the reason why they're not doing it, but still maybe splash a little cash, bring in some offensive lineman or something. I don't know. You got to do something because you're going on now. This could be 3 years not making the playoffs, so let's go to the end of the season and see how this team does in the third season. Okay, so we entered the playoffs, and we went 14-3, but I guess that wasn't good enough to... Oh, we have the bye. Oh, the big old Cougars. Cougars got a bye. You love to see it. Finally making the playoffs for the first time since us being here, basically. We are going up against the Cleveland Browns. Very interesting. Might as well do a little bit of upgrading before the game. Can we beat the Cleveland Browns? We're 14-3 going up against a 9-win Browns team. We do. We win. You love to see it. Going up against the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. Ooh, it's a big one. This is a big one. AFC title game. Are we going to be in the Super Bowl for the first time in 3 years? No, we lose 17-14 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That kind of sucks. But hey, we made some progress. This team got back to the playoffs, which is something we haven't been able to say in basically 3 years. So that's some progress. That's some good progress. The Steelers actually won the Super Bowl, and Patrick Surtain gets to go back up to a 99 overall. Good for him. Season recap, I guess we might as well take a look at it since we were close to being in the Super Bowl. Nothing interesting there. That's okay. We could have done it, but hey, we're making forward progress. We don't have any money still. We're still paying a lot of guys a lot of money. Let's go to the next season and find out if this team can build on what they just did this year. Okay, it is time to start year number 4 without me in charge. We're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we lost to in the conference championship last season. The team still has the core 3. Well, I guess the core 4 with Kyle Pitts. No more Jamar Chase, though, I have noticed. Still have that wide receiver, Johnny Harris or something like that. But no more Jamar Chase. That could be a factor. Then on defense, the linebackers are still here. No more Alex Ali. They couldn't afford to bring back Alex Ali. Buda Baker's still here. No more AJ Terrell. Man, this team is falling apart. I hate to see it. It's making me shed a tear. It's making me shed a tear. All right, I don't know. This team's gotten worse than what it was last year when we made the AFC title game. Let's go see what happens, man. Year number 4, what can this team do? Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Year 4 playoffs, and somehow this team went 15-2. I'm not sure how they did it because they don't have Jamar Chase anymore. They don't have really anybody. They don't have Alex Ali. I mean, I don't know how this team managed to do what they did, but they are in the playoffs in the year 4 simulation without me. And this team's looking the same, I guess. Let's see if they can beat the Browns. They played them last year and beat them in the same exact game. Can they do it again? Of course they can. We lose in the divisional round to the Cleveland Browns. After going 15-2. That makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? That makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. Who won the Super Bowl? Is it Cowboys or is it Bills? And it is the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Good for them. Good for them. And if you take a look at this, it says a financial probation warning. You have the end of the season with a negative balance. If this is not corrected before the deadline, your position will be terminated. Deadline is the end of next season. As you can see up there, we have negative funds. Now, there was a way back in old school Madden, I say old school Madden, just last year, where you could add funds. Is that still a thing? It is. So if I just keep adding funds to the team, I shouldn't be negative anymore, and we can stay above water. So if I add, I don't know, like maybe 100 million in funds or something like that, I don't know how much I've added at this point, probably like 30 million or something. I know I had like negative 60 something. So we'll just keep adding, oops, I disabled autopilot. Whoops, what did that do? I'm back to 2 million, by the way. Let me go back to this, please. Toggle autopilot off. You have disabled autopilot. Is that what I wanted to do? I think so. But I need to keep adding money into the funds. So let's keep adding $5 million into the funds before we simulate. Just to make sure that we don't end the season negative. Definitely don't want to do that. Although next season is year number 5, and we might only go one more season afterwards. I don't know. I don't. Should we go until like Trent Favors and them retire? Some of the main guys retire, maybe. But you never know how long they're gonna play, and I don't want to be here for too long. We've already done 4 years of simulations. All right, is that good enough? All right, it's about $82 million in funds. That's good enough for right now. But if we take a look at what the team is looking like, how old is like Trey Lance now at this point? Trey Lance he's 30 years old now. Jonathan Taylor is 31. Terry McLaurin is 33. So a lot of the guys are getting older. Tajay Chamberlain, he's 29. Kyle Pitts is now 29 as well. On the defensive side of things, Trent Favors is 30. Chase Young is 31. Surtain is 30. Parsons, what's Parsons at? Parsons is 31 as well. Buda Baker is 34. And Kalen Cousins is 29. So we may go a couple more seasons just to kind of see if these guys retire or not. If they don't, then we'll just have to end it there, and you'll have to just think that they retired. So I will see you guys at the next season mark, and we'll end season number 5 and see if we made the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. It's the start of year number 5 without me in control. We haven't had great success. We've made the playoffs a few times, but we haven't had great success. No longer do we have big play Tajay. I was hoping he would retire as a Cougar. He is gone. That's kind of sad. That's a sad day. We do have a hidden development D tackle. That's kind of a sad day. It looks like Micah Parsons starting to regress a little bit. No more Buda Baker. He might have retired or just left. I don't know. But this team is becoming just a shell of its former self, and that is kind of a sad thing to see. We'll see if we can make the playoffs again. I don't know if we will, but let's simulate season number 5 and see what happens. Season 5 is ended, and we have made the playoffs again with another 15-2 record. I don't know how this team keeps doing what they're doing, because they don't look very good. But I guess Jonathan Taylor, Trey Lance, Terry McLaurin, and Kyle Pitts are doing their thing. We actually drafted a right tackle who is a superstar development, so that's awesome. I didn't even realize that they did that. But I knew he had hidden development, but I was just guessing it was going to be star. Maybe it was, and it got moved up. I don't know. But we are, once again, the 1 seed, going up against, this time, the Bengals, so another AFC North team, and we lose again. Of course we lose again. Why can't we just win a game? We can't get back to the Super Bowl. It just won't allow us to do it. I don't know why it won't do it. We want to win. We got to the AFC title game. That's the deepest we've gotten so far without me under center. And Cincinnati made it to the Super Bowl against the Packers. Can they get it done? They can. So we lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions. I guess if there's any silver lining, you can look at that. And Trey Lance wins MVP. So I guess that's why we went 15-2, because he won MVP of the league. I do want to simulate 1 week just to see if any of our players retire or not. I want to see, view the retirements, who's gone. We have Terry McLaurin. I did see that. Is there anybody else, or is it just Terry? It's just Terry McLaurin. What an absolute animal he was. What an absolute animal. It's a sad day to see the greatest wide receiver of all time retire. Chase Young's still here. He's climbing up the ranks. He might pass Tom Brady pretty soon. That's pretty awesome. Trent Favors is also climbing. He's still got a ways to go, but he's getting there. Terry McLaurin could not reach Larry Fitzgerald levels of good, but I mean, this man is just an absolute animal. He's just so good. Look at the numbers that he had while we were playing with him. I mean, 3 straight seasons of 1,000 yards, and they just kept getting better. 31 touchdowns. This is the record-breaking season that we just had. Just a phenomenal year, or a phenomenal career. He only got 1,000 yards one more time after we left. So that's a sad day. It's a sad day to see him go, see him retire. We will do, you know what? Let's do one more season. We'll simulate one more season, and then we can call it I'll call it a video, because this video is already getting pretty long. So let's do it. Let's finish the season. Okay, so the final season of simulation is upon us. We're taking on the San Diego Crusaders too in week 1. Let's get this underway. I don't know how this team's gonna do. I mean, we've been getting to the playoffs, but we haven't been able to do anything after that. Obviously, Terry McLaurin's gone now. Let's go see how this team does in the final year. Let's do it. We finished the final season, making the playoffs at 12-5, but we have to play in the wild card game. And this team is looking about the same. We have the wide receiver room looks just shockingly bad. Micah Parsons is down to normal development. Patrick Surtain, I think, was down to normal development as well. Are we going to beat the Baltimore Ravens? Are we going to fall short once again? No, we actually win. Okay. Can we beat the Jaguars? Division opponent. We have a very personal rivalry with the Jaguars. We won again. Now we take on the team that we lost to in the AFC Championship game a few seasons ago, and we beat them. We're actually in the Super Bowl. This team is bad. This team is not as good as the teams that we've had previously, and we are in the Super Bowl. I guess, what's his face? Trey Lance is just that good? He's just that guy? Are we going to win another Super Bowl? No, we fall just short of winning another Super Bowl. That's a good way to end. We got back. Chase Young won the MVP of the league. Whoa, I've never seen a defensive player win MVP. What did he put up? What kind of... Now I got to know, before we end this video, what did Chase Young... What was his numbers? Chase Young defense numbers. What did he put up? 30 sacks? Chase Young just put up 30 sacks in a season. Wow. And I thought that we weren't going to be able to break the record for sacks in a season ever. But he did it. He passed TJ Watt, who we were trying to beat. 30 sacks. 30 sacks is insane. Defensive sacks in a career. Chase Young is up there. So is Trent Favors. They could get it. If they play another season, they could get it. You know what? I think what we're going to do is we're not going to end the video here. We are going to... I'm going to check retirements really quickly, and then we're going to simulate 10 years into the future. Then we can guarantee that all of our favorite players have retired, unless they retire right here. Let me just take a look at the Cougars team. Let me just take a look. That's Cowboys. So we have no retirements. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to simulate 10 years into the future, and then that'll be the end of the video. So I will see you guys in 10 seasons. Then we can guarantee that Trey Lance, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Young, Favors, everybody else, they'll all be retired by that point, Micah Parsons, and then we can officially take a look at their career as a whole. So we'll do that right when we come back. But I'll see you guys then after 10 years of simulation. I may look a little older. Okay, so instead of simulating right to the 10-year mark, I figured I'd bring you in for one final time before we simulate 10 years into the future, just so you can get a kind of a feel for what the team looks like now, and then when we jump in 10 years in the future, what the team looks like then. So basically every single player that you see here that's real is going to be gone. Kyle Pitts will retire, Trey Lance will retire, Jonathan Taylor, all the offensive linemen will retire, even Henley will retire by then. On the defensive side of things, looks like we lost Micah Parsons and Chase Young. I don't think Chase Young retired, but I think he just left the team. Trent Favors will be gone, Kalen Cousins will be gone, Surtain will be gone, even Smith will be gone probably. So all the guys that we know and love will be gone in 10 years. I don't want to quit, no. And I will see you guys then. I got a lot of simulating to do. I'll see you then. Okay, after hours of simulation, no, I'm just kidding. It wasn't hours. It was probably like a half hour or something. After a long time simulating, we've made it 10 years into the future. And if we take a look at this team, nobody's going to look familiar. You're going to know absolutely zero of these people. It looks like this guy Lockley, actually. He was here right as he was a rookie the year that we started simulating. And he turns out to be a pretty solid player. Who knows if he's a Hall of Famer or not? Probably not, but there's nobody here that we should know unless they're just like superhuman. We got an X Factor right outside, or left outside linebacker. Cool. That's pretty awesome. And it's time to see the history of the league. It is time to see what has happened in these 10 seasons that we have missed. So let's start at the beginning. We started simulating in this year. This is the first year that we started simulating, I think, right? Yeah. So the first season, the Lions won the Super Bowl with Matthew Studebaker. Good for him. Then the Falcons took home a Super Bowl against the Ravens, even though Lamar Jackson was the MVP. The Cardinals took home a championship against the Bengals. Then the Raiders beat the Vikings. We had the Packers beat the San Diego Crusaders, who used to be the Titans. The Bills beating the Lions. Then you go to the Cardinals beating the Chiefs. The Vikings beating the Bills. The football team beating the Diablos. And then this past season, the Bears beating the Bills. So a few repeat champion winners, but no Chicago Cougars. Very, very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. I guess the only thing that we can take a look at is the career stats, not the career stats thing, the legacy leaderboard is what I wanted to say, because we should be able to find some guys. And Chase Young and Trent Favors are joint top of the list all time, no matter what your position is, no matter if you're a head coach or anything, or a player. Chase Young is the all-time leader at 48,000. Trent Favors is at 43,000. Then you've got Trey Lance makes it to 26,900. We are right there alongside Romeo Goddard, so that's pretty cool. 4 Super Bowls, 5 AFC titles. Trey Lance is the second greatest quarterback in NFL history. Let that sink in. Running backs, where is Jonathan Taylor? There he is, 22,000. So he didn't get as much as I would have liked, but he's up there. Then you go to the wide receivers. You've got some really young wide receivers up here. Where's Terry McLaurin? Shouldn't they be up here? It seems like it's gotten rid of Terry McLaurin, and Jamar Chase doesn't exist, and Matt Peterson doesn't exist. Like, where are those guys at? None of these receivers should be up here. I guess it just glitched out with those guys. I don't know. Kyle Pitts is below some of the greatest tight ends of all time. Left tackle, we didn't really have a solid left tackle except for Jedrick Willis, but he doesn't seem to be on here. It doesn't have everybody on here, I'm noticing. Left guard doesn't matter. Center doesn't matter. Right guard doesn't matter. Right tackle, offensive line doesn't matter, basically. What does matter is Trent Favors is the second greatest player in NFL history with a legacy score of 43,000. He's a legend. He's certainly a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. First ballot, give him the gold jacket. Romeo Goddard is the best D-tackle of all time. The best right end is Chase Young by almost 10,000. It's by 8,000 basically. He's the best. Yeah, I figured he would be. Left outside linebackers, we didn't really have a crazy one. When we get to right outside linebacker, we should see Micah Parsons somewhere. Oh, it's not going to have Micah Parsons. It only has certain people on here. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they retired recently. I have no idea what it does, but it's weird. Micah Parsons should be up there. Peterson, and then nobody else at the corners. See, Patrick Surtain should be right here. I don't know where Patrick Surtain is. He should be the #1 corner. He's by far the greatest corner of all time. Then free safeties, nobody. Strong safety. This legacy leaderboard thing doesn't. It's not accurate. We know who is the best players in Cougar history. And that's going to do it for the Chicago Cougars as a franchise and as a series. I hope you guys enjoyed this little 15, I guess it's now like a 15 or 16 year simulation at this point. Everybody that we know and love has retired. They've gone into the sunset with a few championship rings and some Hall of Fame gold jackets and some bust in Canton. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said in the last video when I was wrapping it up, this series completely changed the channel for the better. I've mentioned this so many times. This was just going to be a throwaway series that was just like a filler thing that I put in while we waited for the scouting update to be applied last season, last Madden cycle. And I think it came out in October or something. But this series we were just doing for fun, just to kind of fill the time before I could get the Legends series started. And it blew up. It took off. That first initial video still has 12,000 views as of a year later, over a year later now. So that is just absolutely insane. One of my highest viewed video, I think the highest viewed video of all time is that initial Chicago Cougar video with 12,000 views. So I just want to say thank you for the memories with this series. Thank you for watching this series and enjoying it and contributing it, putting your feedback in the comments, hitting the like button, all that stuff really means a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you for the support on the series and for the support in general on the channel, because I really couldn't be doing anything without you guys. So you guys basically run this channel. I don't run I just make the videos. I'm like the little monkey that makes the videos, claps his hands on the table, and makes a video. You guys are basically who run the World of Juice channel, basically. So take that for what it is. But that is going to do it. That's going to put a nice little bow on this series as a whole. We do have the Chicago Cougars in the Barron series, but we don't obviously control them. So even though they are gone, they are not forgotten. They still live on in the alternate universe that is the Brooklyn Barons. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this satisfied your need for more Chicago Cougar content, and thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and all I can say is go Cougars.